Hi, I'm Jim Kalfas. I'm a mechanical engineer, and I'm in the class of 2013, and I'm working on Olympus. It's a plugin-based server management system. Now, Olympus kind of came out of an issue with trying to access servers that are blocked by firewalls. So right now, in my apartment, we have a Minecraft server. That Minecraft server can't be accessed anywhere else except in our apartment because it's behind our firewall. We're going to fix that, but that requires a lot of effort. So the idea of Olympus is that we develop a program that you will load onto a whole bunch of node servers, and then all you have to do is connect them to one publicly accessible root server, and then you can access from anywhere in the world any of those root servers, no matter where they are. They can all be behind different firewalls, doesn't matter. And it's designed so that it's easy to write a lot of different plugins to use to monitor those servers. So we're going to create some, and then if you want to make some, you can make some for your server management. So how does it work? You have a web page, and I actually have the web page right here. Now it's not connected to the server right now because the server is also behind the firewall in my apartment. But this is the web page, and it's just a web interface. You can log onto it from anywhere, no matter where you are, and you load your version of Olympus, your ID, and it will bring up all of the plugins that you have installed on all of the servers that you have installed. And then you can simply say, display data, and again, it's not going to show anything, but down here, it will pop up graphs of, like, let's say your plugins are written to display your information in the form of pie charts. A pie chart for the percent of RAM usage by different programs. It'll display a pie chart right here that you have designed for your use to show how much RAM is being used by each of the programs on that server. So, like I said, you have a node server, or a group of node servers, and a root server. And that root server has to be publicly addressable. As long as it is, you can then connect it to all of the root servers that are running Olympus, and from the web interface, you can just start running the plugins at any time to monitor what's going on your node servers. Now, Olympus is written in a couple of different languages. The plugins are written in Python because Python is relatively intuitive, and for those people who want to write their own plugins, it's probably the easiest language for them to use. Your root server is written in C++ because there's not a whole lot that your average user is going to want to change with the root server. The idea is to just change the plugins and create your own plugins, and that's all you need to do. And the web interface is written in JavaScript and HTML. So I am one of those people that was brought on to this project by Asher after he and Gabe Malvo were working on it last year.
So the root server portion is complete now?
Yes.
Root server?
Yes, it was completed last year. The root server portion is done. So I came on to Olympus this summer. I had hung out with Asher and Gabe last year and heard a lot about the project, and I decided I would like to help if they would let me. So I started off working on the back end. I was working on some plugins for monitoring your hard drive capacity, your RAM, and processor usage. And the issue I ran into is that they need to be cross-platform compatible. It's relatively easy to write a plugin to monitor your hard drive use in Linux. It's much more difficult to do it in Windows because Windows documentation sucks. So I spent a very large amount of time trying to write the plugins, and I got them working, but I sat there and I said, well, you know, I like doing this, and I want to come back to it, but I also wanted to spend some time this summer working on the front end because I want to learn HTML and JavaScript. That'll be useful to me in the future as well. So I'm currently working on improving the UI. I'm going to be adding in some new graphing methods so that instead of just pie charts, we can get bar graphs, we can get line graphs, and working on different themes. So the idea is that it's your personal server management program, which we kind of want it to look maybe not quite as diverse as Google's ability to do themes on Chrome, but you can do your own themes. You can change colors, you can put images, you can do whatever you want. And also working on an API for writing the plugins, because you don't want to have to sit there and say, well, I want this to display a pie chart, and then have to write the entire pie chart bit of the program, the entire pie chart function. We want to write an API so that all you have to do is call the pie chart function, fill in the variables you want to use, and then when you go to the web interface, it displays the pie charts that you were looking at. Now, in the future, we want to make it more user-friendly. We want it to be more diverse based on what the users want to do. We want to make it easier for users to use, and we want to make it more accessible to people who are not necessarily computer programmers. Me, I'm not a computer programmer. I would have had a lot of trouble trying to write this whole thing myself. I would love to have something like this so that I could run voice over IP programs, I could run Minecraft, all those things, and do it all myself without having to find someone who knows it better than I do. We want to include a suite of basic plugins, so it'll be basic hardware monitoring plugins like your hard drive, your RAM, your processor, your temperature, and maybe a few to monitor, say, numbers of people if you're running Ventrilo. You can see how many people are on average or at any one time are on your server. We want to have the plugin GUI API so that it's easy for everyone to develop their own plugins. We want to have better tutorials and documentation, and we want to have an all-in-one installer that goes along with making it easier for everyone to use, because it's so much easier to click download, hit go on the exe, and now you've got your program installed in your server, and then you can just do it on each of your servers and it's done. You don't have to go and do any manipulation of the software at all. So I want to thank Shauna Sullivan, Professor Morthy, RCOS, Gabe and Asher, who were the previous workers and still working on this project, and Bobby Zhang for switching with me so I could go this Friday before I go on vacation. Any questions?
Yeah, so I have a question, maybe it's also to Asher, is can this be used to control the thermostat in the room?
No. If you made a computer that could control the thermostat, you can use this to control that computer.
Right.
Yes.
And
then you can use a plugin to change the
temperature.
Yeah.
That's the idea. Is this so you can have everything?
Yes.
If this is used for administration as well, then they can apparently call it for use for security private, just because you can access it as one thing.
It could. I mean, obviously, if you're going to be using it for administrative purposes, you would have to probably develop a more secure version of the login.
If you only want to monitor things, is there an option where you can't?
That certainly would be something we could work on. Would be just basically a read-only version. But right now, it does only monitor things. We haven't written any plugins yet that allow you to toggle servers on or off or kick people off of servers or anything. But in the future, that would be something that you would be able to write plugins or not write plugins for. You don't have to use all of our plugins. You only have to use the ones you want. So if you don't want to have that capability, you don't have to install those plugins. You can just have it monitoring. Anything else? Yeah.
For the shards and such, because I'm doing a similar thing with using like JavaScript and everything for my interface.
Okay.
You might consider looking into the Google Charts API, which is there's a lot of plugins for jQuery and JavaScript that allow them to link together, and that way you can act like all the charts that Google uses for their demographics for things like YouTube and everything in the analytics. They publicly make their API for all of them available, so you can get location charts and graph bar charts and everything.